Hi, I'm Jordan Stratman. I'm the social media manager here at Stewardship.
And I'm Connor, and we're getting married soon.
In a month and a half, actually. And we thought it would be helpful for you who are getting newly married and us to talk to some people here at Stewardship who can help us with insurance, financial planning, mortgages, and all that fun stuff. But first, let's grab some coffee. Well, we actually both got tea, but now we're gonna go talk to Jared.
How much do you guys know about buying a home, qualifying for a home, all that different stuff?
Not much at all.
Okay.
We just know we're not buying a home.
We're renting.
That's all.
Renting a home, cool. Well, people ask me all the time, like, should I buy a home? What's the best thing for me, right? And here is the advice I give to everyone that's like a first-time home buyer, okay? I think if you're buying a house, you shouldn't buy it as like an investment. If it's a primary residence, you should buy it as a home, something you're gonna make memories with your family, live in, use it for something great, right? So I don't always tell everyone, hey, you need to buy a home, you need to buy a home. You need to buy a home if it's right for you in your financial situation and was right for you and your family. I don't think anyone should be rushing into buying a home just because they hear, oh, hey, the market's crazy, you need to buy a home now. No, that's the opposite of what you should be doing when you're looking for a primary residence. You should be figuring out what's best for me, right? And what goes into that is gonna be, well, hey, what do I qualify for? You know, if it's a monthly payment that you're gonna qualify for and it's a home that you like, then it's something that's worth looking into, but not just buying a home to buy a home because everyone says you should buy it.
So in the future, when we are ready to buy a home, what are some of the best ways to prepare for that together?
Right. One, you should figure out if there's anything you need to do, well in advance to purchasing a home. You also need to get clear expectations for, hey, what purchase price should I be looking at? Also, you should figure out what's a comfortable down payment amount. And you should figure out if there's anything that would potentially be preventing you from qualifying, maybe within your credit report or something like that. And you should also just ask as many questions as you possibly can to get well informed. Do you guys have any student loans?
No,
we don't. No.
Okay. So I would just give this advice for other people because I think student loans are the #1 pitfall preventing people from buying a home. One of the biggest things I see is that people make late payments on their student loans. What that does is it makes their credit score just fall to places where they won't be able to qualify for a home. So I always tell people, make sure you're staying on top of any debt, especially student loans. Get it on auto pay so you're not missing any monthly payments. Mm-hmm. Another thing that I see sometimes is some people don't have any monthly debt when they're trying to apply for a mortgage, which is awesome, but also that can turn into, hey, I don't have a credit score, which can prevent you from buying a home. So you could take steps to potentially get a credit score prior to purchasing a home so that you can qualify for the best terms possible. Again, no monthly debt is awesome, but you need a credit score in order to qualify for a mortgage.
So we have chosen to rent a house for the near future. Is that okay? Are we just throwing away money? Should we buy a house instead?
Yeah, that's a great question. In fact, my wife and I bought a home, lived there for several years, sold a home and rented a home for a year because that was what was going to be best for our life stage at the time. So I don't think renting a house is bad. It's not throwing away money because it's giving you a place to live. That's something you need. So buying a home is a personal decision and you need to figure out what's best for you and your family. Again, renting is not bad. Obviously, we all want to aspire to eventually own a home, but renting for a time is not bad at all. So when it does come time to buy a home, there's other responsibilities that come with adulting, right? And we have other people in this office that can help you out and answer some of those questions as well.
Jared mentioned that there's more responsibilities when we get married. What are those responsibilities that we should be aware of?
Yeah, it's a great question. So you always want to protect your financial plan, kind of protect your household. And there's really 3 good reasons or options really that can help you with that. One's health insurance. You might have access to health insurance through an employer. You can get it privately. There's a bunch of options privately that you can look at. You can get your own plans because you each will have a deductible. So it does give you some flexibility. Once kids enter into the picture, then you'll want to reevaluate your health insurance again to make sure that it's going to do what it needs to do and protect your family. You always want to make sure that your health insurance is going to cover the major stuff because that's the stuff that can really hurt you financially. It's the minor stuff that like an office visit that you might pay out of pocket, you might not have a copay, and that's okay. You want to protect yourself from the big stuff.
So when we're looking at our health insurance, what are some things we should look for, make sure that we have covered, anything like that?
Yeah, so you definitely want to make sure that maternity is covered, even if kids aren't part of the plan right away. Sometimes it's a surprise, and it's best to have that surprise covered than not have it covered. The other thing that we can look at is life insurance. Life insurance can kind of be like income replacement or just provide stability if one of you were to pass away. Generally, when you're younger and healthier, it's the least expensive it's ever going to be. So now is always a great time to look at life insurance. And then last but not least, an estate plan. A will is a good place to start. It gives you guys the power to do things financially if one of you becomes incapacitated, which probably won't happen, but if it does, you'll have that peace of mind that comes with a solid financial plan of being able to make decisions without freaking out even more in what could be a stressful situation. So, does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, it's really helpful. So when you're newly married and stepping into marriage, you obviously, most people don't have children, don't have, large homes or maybe a lot of assets. What does it look like to build a will around that as someone that's maybe newly married or younger starting off in life?
For sure. Yeah, so a will and the stuff that comes with a will doesn't really help protect assets like a trust would. But the will is going to give you guys written guidelines if one of you actually dies, like how does that play out? A living will, which is part of the package we do here, spells out life support questions. So if you become incapacitated, again, how do you personally want that scenario to play out? And then power of attorney for finances and power of attorney for healthcare gives each other the option to make those decisions, but you can also give that to other trusted people in your lives to actually make those decisions for you if you become incapacitated.
Great.
Makes sense. How much life insurance should we have?
It's a good question. It depends on a couple things. What does income look like if we're using that for income replacement? If you guys already have assets and want to protect that, the payment of those assets, like if you had a house and you wanted to pay off the house if one of you passed away, we could factor that in. Once kids arrive, we're going to want to reevaluate your life insurance, which is a good thing to point out. Once you pick life insurance, you don't have to keep that amount. As long as we can replace it, meaning you're healthy, insurable, you're not stuck with that policy. As life changes, hopefully we can change that life insurance policy to fit your needs.
Great.
You mentioned a financial plan. Should we have a financial planner help us with that?
That's a great question. We should ask Jake that.
Ryan made it seem like we need a financial plan. Do we need a financial plan, and who do we talk to for that?
So, I am a financial planner. I would say, I don't know if you need like a formalized written financial plan at this point. So here's how I think through it. So if you're newly married, you're either in what I call stage 1 or stage 2. So stage 1 is like, hey, you're just really trying to get things going, maybe trying to find margin in your budget, maybe you made some financial mistakes, digging out of a hole. And in that case, just really working together on a budget, looking at that weekly, just trying to track where cash flow is. So that's part of a financial plan. I don't know if you need like a formalized financial plan for that. The next stage maybe is you found some margin. So I call this stage something where you need to start familiarizing yourself with things like investing. You might have started up a workplace retirement plan. Maybe a good idea to open up an additional investment account that's not necessarily for retirement, just to start the habit of saving. So if that's where you're at, that's great. Again, there's definitely a plan behind that, but just start getting familiar with the habits, the concepts of saving and investing.
So at what point do we need a financial plan?
So I think after you really go through that stage 2 where you're familiar, you've been saving, you have more money saved, I think that's when you might want to seek out a financial planner. Because think of it this way too. Let's say you're investing, the market crashes, you get freaked out, and you pull your money out. It's probably not a good wise financial idea. You know, if you're starting out, it's not going to really hurt you a ton. Yeah, it's not a good idea, but, you know, it's not ruining your financial life. But now you're at the point where you have a lot more saved. So things like that, that's going to really, you know, ruin things down the road. So financial planner will help with behaviors, will also help with optimization. You're familiar with investing, you have the habits. Is really where I'm putting money the best place? Should I be looking at different types of accounts? So those are the types of things when you get to that point that a formal, you know, financial planner relationship would be beneficial.
Do you have any other tips that you would give a newly married couple?
So I just wrote a blog about this. So four tips, financial tips for newlyweds. So I'd say 2 of them. You know, first would be to combine your finances. I think that's important. You guys are together now, year 1. Finances should also be combined. So don't maintain separate accounts. Second one is watch your lifestyle. I know it's tempting. You know, let's say you get your first house. You have all these rooms now, so you feel like you need to furnish everything and make everything perfect. Kind of desire your parents' lifestyle. So don't fall for that. It's fine if you have a guest bedroom stay empty for several years. So really watch your lifestyle and your spending. You know, ask your parents, ask other adults kind of what their finances were like when they got married, and you'll be surprised. But it's awesome you guys are, you know, seeking us, asking for help. That's great. So yeah, keep us in mind. We have so many great advisors here on the mortgage side, on insurance. So when those needs arise, you know, ask us and we'll be happy to help.
Well, that was awesome. I learned so much. My favorite part was probably when we heard from Jared about buying a home and that we can just make the best choice for our lifestyle right now. But we know down the road when we're ready to do so and when we've had the conversations that there's people here to help us.
Yeah, that's great. I also learned from Ryan that we need a will. I didn't realize that before, and we need to get one. And also, we need a financial plan at some point in the future, and there's lots of guys here that can help us with that.
Yeah. Well, that was so great. We hope you guys enjoyed it as well. We hope that you got lots of takeaways, and feel free to check out the blog. Thanks for joining us in today's video.